Hello, dear leaders. Nice to talk to you through our channel, Biblical Leadership Institute. Well, I'm not new to controversial topics on this channel. Topics like, can God lie? Leaving my Christian faith. Are you a modern day Pharisee? Should we believe in time prophecies? Should Christians take the COVID vaccine? All of them did earn a handful of upset people who expressed their displeasure on chat, emails, etc. But by far, the topic today would be the most controversial of them all, I guess. I thought about it a lot and understand that I'm risking a wave of unsubscriptions, angry viewers. Yet, I decided to talk about what I believe is fair and required for this generation of Christians. So, ladies and gentlemen, I present to you lessons that Christians should learn from Hindus. If you listen till the end, you will know why this is important for Christians and mankind in general. Catch you on the other side. Last week, NASA surprised the world with photos of their interns working from home, and this particular photo drew a lot of flack. This is Pratima Roy, who posed with idols of Hindu gods and goddesses around her desk. There were some pretty strange reactions to it, Hinduphobic comments, as well as anti-religious comments, like, what place does God have in a scientific organization like NASA? This picture got me thinking and thought to talk about why we as Christians should be appreciative of someone like Pratima, who was not ashamed of her faith and proudly displayed her heritage. Before we go to the lessons, the question to ponder is why should we even learn values from other religions? Well, if you take the core of all the religions on the face of the earth and their philosophies, you will soon understand that there is a common propaganda on all of them, which is to live a happy, peaceful, and content life. All religions, at least the major ones, have this agenda as their ultimate purpose. Even the gods portrayed seem to have the same notion, that is to spread peace and tranquility among the people of the earth. Yet, I found it is the followers who create animosity and hatred because they believe their faith is better than others and thus end up in enmity, which has cost millions of lives over the centuries. Imagine a world where we all appreciate and respect each other's faith. How wonderful it will be if we all decide to honor the belief systems and become more inclusive. So the first lesson to learn is inclusiveness. I was born in the beautiful town of Ooty in India, which has a considerable population of Christians. The Christian schools in Ooty were highly regarded for their commitment to the quality of education, and people from all religions enrolled their children in such schools. I personally had more non-Christian friends growing up in Ooty. I had always noticed that my Hindu friends had no problem taking part in Christian traditions like prayer, Bible reading, sermons, church services, etc. In our school assembly, there would be hymnal singing, and everyone sang along, even if it contained religious connotations specific to Christianity. When I got older, married, and living in an apartment society, the Hindus there were always welcoming of all Christian celebrations and actively took part in them. Even though Christianity is another religion with some very contradictory opinions, they were still able to keep aside differences and participate willingly. Well, was Jesus inclusive like today's Hindus? A big yes. Imagine how he always rooted for the Gentiles, who can be compared to the non-Christians of today. The Samaritan woman at the well, Zacchaeus, the tax collector, the Good Samaritan, the Canaanite women, the Roman centurion whose servant was healed. So many incidents. where Jesus went out of the bounds of religion to include others. John 4:23, Jesus says to the Samaritan woman, "Yet a time is coming and has now come when the true worshippers will worship the Father in spirit and in truth, for they are the kind of worshippers the Father seeks." Jesus was chastised and rebuked for having dinner with the tax collectors, who were usually not considered as part of the Jewish faith. Jesus valued persons rather than perception. Religion has this weird quality to concoct our perception and make us believe and react in funny ways, but Jesus never gave heed to those pressures. He held on to his purpose of restoring humanity through love, and inclusiveness was the path he took. I have a non-Christian friend who once told me that he hates Christians but loves Christ, and whenever he's dejected and down, he would walk into a chapel and look at the sight of Christ on the cross. He said Jesus was someone who was willing to suffer for the benefit of others, and that gave him the courage he needed. By the way, I do understand the current situation in India is very different, and there is a huge agenda for hatred and enmity. But the question for today's Christians is, are we inclusive like our Hindu brothers and sisters? Can we aim to be like Jesus and hold on to love through inclusiveness? I will let you think about it. The second lesson is to respect everyone and everything. The one area where Christianity and Hinduism go spark against each other is the concept of idols. Christianity abhors idolatry while Hinduism esteems it. While Christianity professes one God, Hinduism advocates that everything is God. Water, land, fire, air, sun, the moon, even money, books, food, everything is some form of God and is worshipped. Once here in the West, I was sitting with a couple of friends, and when a bottle of water fell down, one of them used their feet to push it out from under the table. It was the smartest thing to do at that moment, but you will be surprised to know if it were Hindus, they would never touch the water bottle with their feet, as it's considered an extremely disrespectful thing to do. Do you know why? Water is considered holy and worshipped, and so it is handled with high regard. Do you know books are considered sacred such that Hindus handle books with great care? They call it Saraswati, the goddess of knowledge. They also consider money sacred and handle money with utmost respect and honor. For a moment, let's keep the worshipping these things apart and realize there is a very important lesson we can learn about respecting things around us. 1 Corinthians 3:16-17 says, "Don't you know that you yourselves are God's temple and that God's Spirit dwells in your midst? If anyone destroys God's temple, God will destroy that person. For God's temple is sacred, and you together are that temple." Paul says, if we consider our bodies as the temple of God, then we will honor it and treat it with reverence. I think this is what Hinduism follows pretty much on everything, to recognize the worth of things around us and to be grateful by honoring and handling them responsibly. Christians usually have a very condescending perspective on things in the world, and we are only excited about things above. So much that we sometimes fail to understand the worth of everything around us that truly helps us live the very life we live. From the sun with its light and heat, gravity, the earth's magnetic field, to the trees, bees, even modern inventions like electricity, motor vehicles, planes, everything deserves respect. I've always noticed how my Hindu friends handle the Bible. I once requested my Hindu friend to pass a Bible to another person, and the way they handled it in their hands was exactly like how you would handle a precious gem. When asked, they said it's a holy book and deserves the utmost respect, something that we Christians should draw inspiration from. Religion has been a divisive tool for a pretty long time now. Mankind is only getting worse in handling religion. I don't think we can continue this path any longer. Let our next generation move away from religious intolerance and start being inclusive and respectful of other faiths. I'm saying this because if we in our current generation fail to do this, we are at risk of losing religion altogether, since the newer generation is looking for fairness in action. Remember my statement in my previous video, Leaving My Christian Faith? Religion is the only resort to impart humane traits in us. If we ruin its reputation among our children because of our greed, we will be left with no single principle in life, and suddenly everything and every way become legitimate, which is a very dangerous state to leave our children with. If you have listened thus far, I believe I have done justice in explaining why inclusiveness and respect for other religions are essential going forward. Galatians 3:28, there is neither Jew nor Greek, there is neither slave nor free, there is no male and female, for you are all one in Christ Jesus. I will be very happy to hear your comments about this, and thank you for your continued support. And until I meet you once again, this is John signing off. God bless you.